is falling apart. So let's pause there for a moment. In my view, the Matt Gaetz case is an example of the Department of Justice, federal prosecutors, working exactly as they should, precisely in the way that they should. Meaning, the investigation, which was launched by Bill Barr's Justice Department, was not a political.
Oh, shoot. You were viewing somebody. I had a viewer. I'm sorry.
It came as a result of a guy named Joel Greenberg.
People, let me know when you're in, because I can't always tell if I have a viewer.
To, among other things, sex trafficking of a child. Sure seems like he implicated Matt Gaetz. How do we know that? We know that because Greenberg's attorney publicly stated, I'm sure Matt Gaetz is not feeling very comfortable today after Greenberg pled guilty.
Ask any legal question you want, I will answer it today.
That's not the Department of Justice's fault that they are getting evidence, that they are getting testimony. There was another account from his ex-girlfriend. We don't know exactly what was said. Here's what we do know. We do know that the system worked.
Hello. You have a legal question? Anything?
Because the prosecutors decided they didn't have enough evidence. It doesn't mean he didn't do it. It means that this supposedly
just sitting here
partisan investigation and prosecution decided not to charge him.
Waiting for somebody to come in and talk to me.
Call from Ronnie Diggs.
Anybody want to talk?
Shows that the FBI is partisan. I just don't get it. The article from the National Review goes on, talks about a whistleblower told the Washington Times that the FBI had adopted an entirely ridiculous internal process for determining every single national priority. Okay, so what happens there is that then gets twisted into it's all partisan, right? I don't know what their internal process is. I don't know what their national priorities are. I'm sure some people disagree with the choices they make. The head of the FBI is Christopher Wray, longtime Republican. And this guy then says, relative to its historical conduct, its behavior seems pretty standard. What the FBI did to Matt Gaetz is precisely what it did to Donald Trump. And what it did to Donald Trump is what it's been doing since it was founded, namely spying on or attempting to discredit anyone who irritates the powers that be. We know why the investigation, the Trump investigation, was open. It was open because the FBI had information that Hillary Clinton's emails had been hacked, and that an Australian diplomat who'd met with George Papadopoulos said he had said that they had seen emails. They hadn't. FBI Inspector General investigated how and why
call ended.
The Russia investigation started and determined that it was opened legitimately. The number of times we have to say this is sort of astonishing. But I'm going to say this again.
Anybody?
This claim that the FBI wanted to discredit Donald Trump. Do you know how easy it would have been for the FBI, to have leaked that there was a Russia investigation into Donald Trump? Think about that. Leading up to the 2016 election, there was an investigation going on about whether Donald Trump was tied to the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
And the FBI did not leak it. These are the people who wanted to get him.
Somebody come in, talk to me, ask me a question.
Why not just leak the investigation? And you know what else? If the FBI was out to get Donald Trump and discredit him and spy on him because the powers that be, why would James Comey have come out 11 days before the election and announced that Hillary Clinton was being investigated? It makes no sense. And then we get into the history, right? This, you may recall, is the same agency that tried to persuade Martin Luther King Jr. to kill himself. It's the same agency that compiled a list of 12,000 Americans, and upon outbreak of the Korean War, he urged President Truman to jail them without trial, etc. Can you imagine if, I mean, we're talking about the 1960s and before, 50s and 60s. If people started talking about what was happening in southern states, saying, well,
Call ended.
you want to talk about what people in Alabama or Mississippi think or Louisiana? Let's talk
Somebody
about
come and talk to me.
In the 1960s. No, let's not do that. You know why? Because it's completely irrelevant to what's happening today. I mean, he goes on, the same agency is sort of a greatest hits of the worst of the FBI over the years.
Everybody, I had
And I
two
could pick for
look-ins.
you
Come on,
a
people.
greatest hits of the worst of law enforcement around the country. I could pick for you the worst of what certain prosecutors' offices have done, certain police departments have done in the 1950s and 60s. You really want to go there?